Let's talk about the time Spider-Man went to kill the Kingpin. During the events of the superhero Civil War, Tony Stark had coerced Peter Parker into revealing his identity to the world. Wilson Fisk is in prison in time, but he's not letting that stop him from making his moves. You know, a man with that much power and influence can get anything done from anywhere. In order to pay back and eliminate one of the biggest thorns in his side through all these years, he puts a hit out on Peter Parker. After the final battle of the Civil War, Pete goes back to the cheap motel he was hiding Mary Jane and Aunt May in when all of a sudden his spider senses go off. He quickly dives out of the way, tackling Mary Jane to safety, only to look up and see his poor Aunt May took the bullet that was intended for him. In a frenzy of panic and anger, Pete runs outside and grabs the Jeep and slings it into the building where the shot came from, buying him enough time to collect Aunt May's body and swing through the city as quickly as he can to rush her to a hospital. Thanks to the recent Superhero Registration Act, Pete is a wanted man. He couldn't even go into the hospital and visit Aunt May if he wanted to. As understandably upset as Pete is, Mary Jane wants to know what he's going to do through all of this. He tells MJ that since he can't be there by May's side, he's going to do what he does best when he really puts his mind to it. He's going to hurt someone. He begins tearing his way through the city's criminal underbelly, not joking, not even taking the time to go put a suit on. He's barely pulling punches, he's hurting everybody he touches. Pete's working through his anger and trying to get to the bottom of all this and find out who put the hit on him and his family. Poor old fragile Aunt May has slipped into a coma where the machines she's plugged into are the only thing keeping her alive. So Pete goes back and finds the black suit that Felicia Hardy had made for him all those years ago and decides he's going to find out who did this, and when he does, he's going to kill them. Eventually, he gets the name that he was looking for, the name of the hitman who pulled the trigger. Spidey hunts him down and immediately cracks his arm in half. As the guy's begging for mercy, he slams his head into a wall and throws him across the train station. Pete grabs him and looks him in the eye and tells him of the torture he has waiting for him and tells him he better give him a name, but after he does, he will kill him. Before he can get the information he's looking for, this hitman is executed as Pete has to jump out of the way of the firing bullets. Pete throws a Spidey tracer on this new assassin. He tracks him down to find him on the phone with his boss, and when he takes it from him, he hears an all-too-familiar voice, one of Wilson Fisk. Kingpin's used his ridiculous amounts of money to pay off all the night guards and give them a couple of hours, and hell, even let all the prisoners out of their cells. Kingpin wanted an audience for his upcoming fight. He makes fun of Spidey and tells him what a chump he's been for trusting Tony Stark and jeopardizing his entire family. Pete's not here for conversation, he's here to kick some ass. After waylaying him, he takes a break and gives Fisk a second to talk, where he uses this time to gloat and tell Spider-Man that he's took everything from him. Hell, he's not even talking or having his old patent humor anymore. All he has left is desperate revenge. Without saying a word, Pete just starts tearing his ass up again. Kingpin tells Spidey that he claimed he came here to kill him. If he's gonna do it, he better get on with it, and Spider-Man says alright. First, he tells Wilson what this suit means. It represents all the things that he promised he would do, and all the things he promised he would never do. All the lines he swore to himself he would never cross. He says, "I'm not here to kill you." As Spider-Man pulls his mask off, revealing the face of Peter Parker, looking Kingpin in the eyes, he says, "I am." He proceeds to give Kingpin an ass-kicking like he's never got before, knocking his teeth out, slamming him around, throwing him around like he's nothing. Taunting Kingpin, telling him he has no real power, that he's just a fat man in a suit. All he is a big balloon waiting on a needle to come by and pop him, and Pete's the needle. Wilson desperately lunges at him. Pete begins to kick the shit out of him one more time. On the ground defeated and through a mouthful of blood, he's swearing to Spider-Man that he's going to kill him, but Pete just keeps screaming for Wilson to get up. And when the Kingpin can't get up under his own power, Pete grabs him by the chest and pulls him to his feet, and begins bitch-smacking the fuck out of him in front of everybody. Forehand and backhand over and over again in front of all of these criminals. Picks Fisk up off the ground and tells him what's going to happen as he holds his wrist up to his mouth. Tells him he's going to fill his lungs up with web fluid, and in a mere couple of seconds, his chest will be full of nothing but useless tissue. As he throws him back to the ground, he just tells him, not today. Pete wants everyone to know how badly the Kingpin got beaten. All these criminals are going to talk, and eventually the whole city, and hell, even the whole country, will know how the Kingpin fell. He knows that's the worst kind of hell Wilson Fisk could live in. He turns to face the crowd of criminals and tells them that if anybody fucks with his family, they'll be facing the same fate. Kingpin's not getting out of this easy. Pete tells him that he will be back, that when Aunt May dies, he will too.